Just a little recording to see if I can demonstrate the issue with this chat. So I'm not currently touching the phone. So this reloading thing happens every 15-20 seconds. It means that it's almost impossible to draft a message, and if someone writes something long, it's difficult, and it takes a couple of times then to read. Yeah, most of this chat's actually trying to establish the fact that it's not working very well. Yeah, so you see that disappeared? I didn't do that. And now it's refreshed. That's the issue, just keeps on repeating like that in a loop. Okay, quick edit and post. There is a missing button here, and the reason I wanted to highlight this is because this button does not appear in my desktop computer. Like in Edge, Microsoft Edge or Explorer, whatever you want to call it, and Firefox. It doesn't appear at all, and it only appears on my phone for some reason, using Chrome on the phone. So if I remove the hold from this edit, you'll see that it does appear on the phone, and that's not happening on the web browser.
A few minutes later.
This is a bit of research into why a website I was trying to use was not working. It got me frustrated, and I wanted to figure out for myself just what was causing the issue. I thought it was maybe something I was doing wrong, something with my configuration was broken. And I guess one might make the argument that yes, something on my end was wrong. But let's get into the details and have a look. This is a brand new Firefox profile, like fresh profile, no extensions, no configuration, literally made it just a few seconds ago. So we expect here that Firefox will behave default out of the box. This is the website that I've been having issues with. It's the Ulster Bank. We're here to help you chat. Let's say live chat, right? Here we see we're here to help, and that's it. And I was able to get this website working and the live chat working barely on my smartphone. But yeah, on the desktop's just not working at all. So actually looking at this helped me also maybe understand a little bit why the experience on the smartphone was also so bad. But anyway, I digress. Let's take a look. To make this website work, I need to whitelist 2 domains on my network. I've done that in the background now, and I'm going to hit Control-Shift-R to refresh this page, and we see that magically, out of nowhere, we have a social media team and chat now, which loads up this little guy, and we can see, if we click here, that's functions I didn't see in the smartphone. Interesting. This is powered by this thing called a live person. Yeah. Okay, that's the live chat function on this website. So by enabling 2 domains on my network, I figured out that was the issue and enabled them, and it works fine. Let's just break it for illustration. I'm gonna need to probably delete all of the history here and then hit refresh. And yeah, just give it a few seconds. Nothing appears here. And I turned off the whitelisting for those domains in the background, and we can see that it's broken again. Okay. What are the takeaways then for a manager or executive or someone in charge of this website? I suppose the key takeaways are: this website is not well designed to give feedback to the user when something's not working or missing. So their ability to recruit help, either self-help or help from an administrator or someone managing that network. That's that ability, because they don't know something's wrong. I mean, this basically looks like a website that wasn't finished or whatever. That's missing. There's bad messaging, bad user experience in that sense. A quick editor's note here. It came to me as I was editing the video that one question that might come up is, how likely is someone else to experience this fault or error where the chat doesn't work? And I think I have a bit of a mixed opinion, I'm more of a privacy advocate, and I operate a network where I'm restrictive and more stringent compared to, let's say, maybe most and majority. But that is not to say that it would maybe be a very small minority either, because I think anybody with a reasonable ad blocker, and I think that's probably a lot of people, I mean, maybe not the majority of people, but it might be a large minority. I think people with ad blockers would be having an issue with this. And there's a lot of websites out there that that detect when ad blockers are present, and they give the users a message to either say, hey, if you want this to work, you need to turn your ad blocker off or whitelist this thing. The web pages are essentially intelligent or adapting to the situation where resources are not loading that are needed to make the web page work. And that may be because they're losing revenue and they want to ask the user to be, to accept the adverts because that's the revenue generation. And that may, if it's an adverts to unlock content, essentially instead an advert wall, if you like, instead of a paywall or some other wall. I think those things, it's up to the user then how they would like to interact with that business, right? And sometimes the people, businesses have that opportunity. If someone's got an ad blocker and that's one of their revenue streams, they can advertise or they can promote a ad-free experience, that type of thing, right? There's positives and negatives. I suppose one of the reasons why this particular website got me frustrated is because the point of this page is to help people, and obviously it didn't. It initially did not help me, and I was frustrated by the fact that it didn't work very well. And if you've seen, my plan here is to pre-pend this particular video with the issues I was experiencing on the smartphone. If you've seen that, you'll understand just how frustrating it was. Okay, I'm gonna resume the video now, edit over, and hopefully I've given you some key kind of impacts and issues, and also try to explain the likelihood of this happening to other people. I think that's so. I wouldn't say the likelihood is high, but I would also say it's not low. It's like somewhere in the middle. I will go into some details as to what's behind this not working now, and if someone was to review that, they'd see, I think, that the design and implementation of the website is being done in a way that I would describe as poor design. It would follow what I would regard as anti-patterns, like implementation that you would not choose to teach somebody to do. And if I was in a position to be managing a web team developing this type of application, it would not pass my QA. I would not allow developers to release this type of thing to the public. It might be okay for prototyping and testing applications and getting stuff out there quick and fast and dirty. That's a different conversation. But releasing live code, live production applications like this would not get past my test bench, my QA, and my standards. So those are kind of the key takeaways for management, and I'm going to get into some of the details now as to why this isn't working, and that might be interesting for someone else looking at this, or just someone who's also nosy like me. All right, let's go into that view. Something I created earlier with my Charles Web Debug proxy is a 3 sessions: a not working session, a working session, and an unrestricted session. And these sessions allow the user to see what was happening on the website that you were putting through, Charles. Essentially, it allows you to record whatever was happening on the website in the background, and it allows developers and people like that to see what was going on, what was being used. It's very useful for finding problems and making optimizations, and it can also be very good for security, looking for issues, exploitations, doing reviews, that type of stuff. So it's a great debugging tool, very useful tool in the belt of a developer. So I use this to take a look at what was going on with this website. The not working session is what we're looking at now. Ulster Bank is the main web property, and then we see assets.adobe DTM, cookie law, which is also related to the OneTrust thing. That's the cookies window, or the cookies dialog that pops up when you first enter the website. And then this is some strange application stuff from report URI that's not working, it's broken. Interestingly enough, when you look at the responses from this server, it's saying over quota. So this means that the probably software as a service provider here is saying that these requests are not allowed, it's over quota. Maybe somebody forgot to pay a bill here, or they've decommissioned it and didn't take it out of the application. Not good. And there's a lot of those requests just wasting bandwidth here. It's not cool. Some tracking telemetry thing which was blocked on my network. Probably this came from Mozilla. We could take a look at that request, but it's off topic. And then, yeah, okay. So looking at the sequence here, I could see that the assets request was broken. There's probably something important in there, and that's where I started kind of my diagnosis. Before we move on to the next session, one can see here that the number of JavaScripts and assets that are being requested are quite considerable. This is what I was referring to a moment ago about, kind of anti-patterns, bad design, bad implementation, fragile code, not good for production applications. So, also calling this number of domains, I mean, this is also, I guess you could say fragile. And who's putting in all this tracking crap? Yeah. The reason, by the way, that Adobe is blocked on my network, and this one and others, is because of their domains being associated to telemetry, privacy infringements, and being blacklisted essentially. And those blacklists are loaded into my network configuration, and so those requests don't go through. So let's look at this with a working session. Once I enabled Adobe, then we got all of this additional, let's say, application payload through, and some of that includes then the assets or the configuration needed to get the chat working. Interestingly, this live person IP tag live person also is a dependency, this domain, the stuff happening in here, and that is also blocked by my network because it's associated to telemetry, tracking, and so on, privacy infringements. So this one and this one were blocked, and that's the main reason why the application was not working. Firstly, because somebody decided to embed the logic for this in there, and then I had to unblock these two and the second domain to get it to work. So this is, I guess even if that was not the case and it wasn't hosted here, I would have still had this issue. But yeah, you can see how these things are starting to snowball, or the issues compound each other, right? Okay. This is the view, the structure view of the bare minimum required requests, as I guess you could say, to get this working. And this is the sequence. I guess the actual functionality of the application lives on this URL. If we look at the structure here,
structure view comparison. There's a couple of additional domains. There's this LP tag one, and yeah, this one and this one. Then we've got this is the unrestricted session. So this kind of blew my mind a little bit, and I was like super pissed off that this is the shit that comes with this application just for this live chat experience. Yeah, I guess ask the question, who the hell's designing these things and who's doing QA and check and balances and stuff like that on these type of applications. But I'm really glad that my network doesn't allow this stuff, have to say. So, because I wanted to kind of just check and also make a point, I removed all restrictions from the network around the website and to check, see what would happen. So we see here versus the not working and the unrestricted. We've got what else addition do we have? We've already spoken about the Adobe one. Okay, we got a Google thing. It's probably for tracking. Tag managers, tags, that's tracking. So that was blocked previously. TT probably also tracking. Connect Facebook, nice. So this is Facebook tracking and integrations. Because that request even goes to Facebook, they can track what's going on, right? How do we look at this? Is there a referrer even? Yeah, doesn't matter. So it's basically from my IP address, loaded this Facebook crap, right? Nice. Then ClickTail. This is a bunch of requests to ClickTail. ClickTail is tracking telemetry, I guess. Facebook.com, some other crap. So there was connect Facebook and connect. Yeah, so 2 requests to Facebook.com, or minimum 2. I don't know what this was, but I think it was also related to. This was blacklisted as well, related to tracking and telemetry. And then, yeah, I don't know what this is. I'd have to check. Engagement window protection. Maybe that's something that the live chat's loading. I don't know. But again, I suppose going back to my original point, if we look at the sequence of things needed in this, this is the unrestricted view, all this stuff, all this, which is like way too much, is needed to make this. Or is not needed. It's like it's what happens when you load that page on an unrestricted network. Yeah. That's not cool. Poor design. I guess you could say it's even like questionable from a ethics perspective, from a moral perspective, right? Having all this shit enabled. You know, this is what makes it work. It's still bad, but there's no Facebook in there, right? A lot of that tracking stuff is blocked. Not good. Oh well. If you made it this far into the video, I guess thanks for watching. Maybe if you're someone responsible for this website, you can make some improvements. Yeah. Good luck. You can feel free to reach out to me if you have questions.